Hey folks, what's up? How's it going? So today I figured I would talk a little bit about some of the things I look for when I'm looking for a new kitchen job. Now obviously I don't do this anymore because I'm no longer working in kitchens. Most of these things I value from a consumer standpoint. Maybe it's good work culture, or it just helps you move up in that cooking world a little bit faster. And I kind of wanted to touch on this because the cooking world is so competitive and it can be really difficult to find a place that fits all of your needs. So starting off, I really encourage you to avoid really large kitchens. Places that have 15, 20 different cooks, you're gonna be kind of lost in the system. When you're looking for somebody to mentor you in cooking, which is really important, you're gonna wanna find somebody you can have a direct relationship in a kitchen. So in a lot of these larger kitchens, you might work with a junior sous chef or a sous chef, but you're really only focused on that one station and you're kind of limited into what you're able to learn. Whereas if you have a smaller to a medium-sized team, you might be able to get the input from the chef, the sous chef, the junior sous, and as well as a bunch of other people who hold leadership positions. So you're really looking for as much positive influence as you can in as many different fields as you can. And in those larger kitchens, you're kind of stuck to your station. You're not really able to learn other sections. So if you're on saute for, I don't know, 6 months, and then maybe you get to move to fish. And then maybe you get to move to meat. So you're really having to work through each individual system in these larger kitchens, and there is a lot of room for growth there. However, in a smaller team, you might be on saute and fish, or you might be on meat and fish and mains. So on these smaller teams, you're able to get a lot of different things coming your way and pick up different things that you value. However, that means you might have more responsibilities. You might have to make staff meal twice a week. You might have to do a little bit extra cleaning at the end of the night because you don't have night cleaners. And you might not even have a dishwasher, which means you're gonna have to do all the dishes for service and prep time. So there's benefits to having a bigger team, but personally, I don't mind that little bit of extra work in order to get my hands on more ingredients and more techniques and whatnot. That being said, if you are working on a larger team, you might get better hours. You might only have to work 7 to 8 hour days versus on a smaller team, oftentimes you might work 11 to 12. And when you're looking at somewhere for a workplace, I really encourage you to avoid somewhere that you just want to eat all the time. So if you really enjoy Italian food, I encourage you to not just work somewhere that is Italian food. The reason I say this is because a lot of the traditional restaurants like French, Italian, Japanese, they have a lot of really great techniques. But once you master those techniques and you get the fundamentals and a little bit more of the advanced techniques down, there's diminishing returns and it's somewhat of a search for better ingredients. So you might be able to make a really good pasta and then go to a different kitchen and they have better flour, so the pasta is better. But the techniques are generally gonna be kind of the same. So that being said, I encourage you to find somewhere that has a little bit more of a new world style of technique approach. So somewhere that's not afraid of taking a technique from one culture and applying it to another. Then again, there's really great things. If you really enjoy one cuisine and you know you just want to be an Italian chef, yeah, try it out. Try out the fundamentals, super strict traditional Italian, and then go to some of the more new world Italian and explore as much as you can within that region and continue to kind of develop upon that. And a lot of these older traditional institutionalized restaurants, they kind of run a best hits playlist of their previous menus. I like to call this a rotating menu rather than a seasonal. While yes, it might fit spring and the menu items are spring flavors or fall flavors or whatever the season happens to be, they're not being creatively looked at anymore because they sold really well in the spring of 2007 and then every spring after that they run that same menu. So I encourage you to find somewhere that tries to change things up, even if it's not better in spring, but just continuing to develop and learning from their mistakes and just like new things, new creative ideas. Menu size. A lot of the larger restaurants, they have really big menus with a lot of different options, which can be really great for a diner if you're a bit picky and you don't really know what you want. But personally, I like to cater to the people who are open to trying everything. And I like to cater to the people who are foodies and aren't really afraid of trying something that they might not love. And I find a smaller menu helps you dive in deeper on those individual items and you can continually get better at making them because your prep list is a lot smaller. You might only have to make 3-4 dishes on that station and then you're able to continually improve those dishes versus 12 dishes and you're a little bit chaotic because you're trying to do 12 different dishes. As well as for service, it's a lot easier to just have 4 dishes and then somebody adds on one more of one thing and you can just pop it right in the pan and just continue on, and you're not really going to fall behind as much. If you only have 3 or 4 individual items, you're able to keep track of all of your par levels, and you're able to really hone in on what sells fast, what doesn't, and you're going through your ingredients a lot faster. Things are more fresh. You're not going to have something sit in the fridge for a week because you only sell 2 of it a day. That just doesn't happen with a smaller menu. And a big thing that I valued later in my cooking career was supporting local. I realized I didn't want to be just supporting Cisco or big corporations that are bringing in produce from places that are far away in order to cater to this one specific cuisine. I really wanted to hone in on what was local and make food that, you know, was grown by farmers that are part of my community, and keeping that money rotating in my community and like out of the pockets of CEOs and corporations. And I found that helping farmers in my area, you're able to build relationships with them, you're able to continually help develop things. I remember I had a chef who asked for a new kind of pepper that we didn't have. So he was working with this one farmer, they bought seeds, they planted a bunch of these peppers, and then they wanted to try them on the menu for the next year. And that's something that's really cool, that you can kind of work with farmers and you can create relationships with people. I just find it more of an authentic experience to be farm to table rather than farm to corporation to table. As well as local farms are generally going to have more interesting and better tasting produce. Things just taste better when they're fresh, and it's nice to have something that's in season. You can say, I got these radishes from this farm, and then people are gonna be like, oh cool, you're supporting local. I know that farm, that's in Burnaby or wherever. And a lot of times these farms are gonna have interesting ingredients. Maybe they're gonna have a type of radish you've never tasted that tastes very different from other radishes. One thing that I found was really frustrating as a cook was having to do really long hours. It kind of sucks sometimes when you have to invest a lot of your life into this career. However, the time that you spend in a kitchen pays off. If you spend long hours, like 10 to 12 hour days, you're gonna be focused for 10 to 12 hours on something that you love, and you're gonna grow a lot faster. And that might not be the best for your wallet, and that is a luxury that some people do not have. Sometimes that is going to help you move faster in the kitchen. You're gonna get more experience quicker just because you're there longer in a day. You're just, using more of your day dedicated to this one thing. And finally, just find somewhere that challenges you, either creatively, like organizationally, in a management setting. Just find something that you are looking to learn. Choose and pinpoint something that you want to get better at. When I took a job at Ancora in West Vancouver, I really wanted to learn more about seafood because I was from Alberta and I had no idea about anything fish related. So that's why I took the job, is because I really needed to get out of my comfort zone. Even if I don't love eating seafood, I really need to know about it as a chef. So that's what I did. And then I got the role as a sous chef. And I was at that point ready to leave the kitchen, or I'm gonna learn organization and management. So that was that point in my career. I was like, okay, I've learned seafood. Let's hone in on being a manager, being a sous chef, and understanding that kind of world. Eventually leaving there to go to Farmer's Apprentice to learn menu development and creation and what I value in a kitchen, as well as supporting local and working alongside farmers. Don't just do long hours because long hours means more time. Do long hours because you say, I am learning this thing at this job, so I can justify long hours. That is kind of my basis of what I look for in a kitchen. Somewhere that has a really small menu, smaller team, caters to people who are foodies and not afraid to try different things, even if it's not perfect. And somewhere that you're gonna develop and they want to see you develop. They want to see you improve. Like, these jobs aren't always gonna be easy jobs, but they're gonna challenge you. That's the idea. And you're gonna get better from it. A lot of times people can burn out from this kind of career, and finding something that you are honed in on trying to learn at one time, whether that's, being creative, menu development, or maybe it is learning one type of cuisine, whatever that thing might be, really focus on that in these challenging jobs. But yeah, I hope you guys got something from this and you enjoyed. Again, if you have any questions, I'll try my best to answer them down below, and we'll see you next time. Peace.